Also, this film has really cool melee combat. You see robots sword fighting, shields, swords, battle axe is awesome. In addition to all the really cool gunfighting, which, as I'll say before, since you can make out what robots which in this movie, like seriously, the whole time through, I very rarely had any trouble following what was what, except for like the random nameless Decepticons. But they were just there to get shot. They were essentially red shirts. So I really like that. That's a big improvement. That's commendable. I don't know why it couldn't be like that for the last two, but that is definitely a place where they've 100% learned their lesson. Also, not just the up close combat or the one-on-one combat, but you are also seeing full-on invasion like slash resistance style warfare, and it is awesome. I mean, so you add together giant sword fights, distinguishable combatants, and this giant battle in not New York, Chicago. Chicago's been overtaken. Everything's getting destroyed. You see people, like human beings, get zapped to bits. It gets really dark, and there's some robot deaths. Obviously Optimus Prime doesn't die again. I don't think that's spoiling anything for anyone. He's pretty much invincible at this point. But no, there are some robot deaths that are kind of shocking, and they kind of do take you back, and you're like, whoa, I feel that this robot is dying. I'm not happy with this. Okay, just to bring up a few more gripes with the movie. The long-standing antagonist, Megatron, is really largely absent, but when he shows up, he has this awesome new visual flair. It's really cool. I do wish that he were in it more. Frances McDormand is new to the series. She plays a really bluntly authoritative character, and she never really becomes likable enough. I mean, she works, but I think that by the end of the movie, you should like her more than loving to hate her. No, you don't even love to hate her. See, that's the wrong term. You just don't like her. And you don't hate her, you don't like her. It's a weird in between. It's limbo. Um, the sidekicks. Oh my god, that's one of the biggest problems with this franchise. Everybody has a sidekick, even the sidekicks. So this movie introduces Tyrese Gibson's character Epps, who's been in all three. He now has sidekicks, even though he's Josh Duhamel's sidekick, and Josh Duhamel's just the supporting lead. So like essentially a sidekick for Shia LaBeouf. It's just like it's too much. It's too much. And then again, another problem that I had were Ken Jeong for 6 minutes didn't need it, and John Malkovich is in it a little bit, only in the beginning, but I could have done without 2 or 3 of his scenes. I think he's in 4 scenes. Cut that down to 1. It would have been a much appreciated cameo instead of a weird role. But again, all these minor nitpicky flaws, except again, I'm not saying nitpicky is in the first 30 minutes. The first 30 minutes are pretty damn weak. But they're off-put by a supremely cool new batch of robots. There's robots with UK-inspired accents, the Cyclopean Shockwave, which is just awesome. This mini dragon condor thing that gets a surprising degree of screen time. Then you got a new human villain, McDreamy. He has a really fun role. He is a love-to-hate villain. He's great. There's a plot without any major, serious WTF moments. Again, Tyrese Gibson's character Epps, who normally second fiddle to Josh Duhamel, probably gets more, maybe not more screen time, but definitely is more important in this movie, and he's great. Movie has amazing 3D, including a soon-to-be famous sequence involving this awesome aerial descent via wingsuit. It's truly, and here's a word that I do not throw around lightly, it's truly epic. And there's this awesome confrontation, which again can best with what can best be described as a robot Sarlacc. So I'm just gonna say, I'm gonna indulge in another cliche and say Transformers 3 is a must-see in 3D. Really, seriously, you're doing yourself a huge disservice if you don't see it in 3D. And while it starts off clunky and reminiscent of the 2009 Abomination, it really swiftly moves down to the realm of downright awesome. And it's not only the best Transformers movie I've seen, but it's also probably my favorite non-animated movie in 3D. It's easily my second favorite movie this summer so far, behind Bridesmaids, which go see Bridesmaids! See Bridesmaids! And somebody get me a pirated copy. Seriously, I'm going to buy it when it comes out on DVD. I just want to watch it a couple more times before that, get the quotes down. And it's probably one of my top 4 or 5 movies of the year. I really like Bridesmaids, I really like Rango, and this. Again, so far. I'm sure that it's going to get knocked out come, November and stuff. Now, this is just for you, James, and I'm sorry that I've been so scatterbrained. I'm sure it's annoying you. But your bro you versus your snob you, a.k.a. just you playing a caricature yourself, because you are. You are a snob. Well, Jason Statham is only going to improve the franchise, you bloody git. He's going to be fantastic. and he's boning Rosie Huntington, and I'm very jealous of him. I don't know why I'm using this accent to convey jealousy at myself, but yeah. Okay, now there's another thing. Right here, later, once it's made, I will put a link to what is at the real root of James and I's argument about this movie, which is how do we make distinctions and in turn judge what are summer movies versus general releases versus Oscar bait, and should we even do that? Those are definitely questions you guys can answer in the comments, but that is for another day. And then just to the viewers, please see this movie. It's awesome. It's got giant robots fighting and sword fighting, stunning 3D. I mean, it's not the funniest movie around, but it's got solid humor, made me laugh, and Rosie Huntington-Whiteley is so hot. She's so hot. She's so hot. I'm just gonna leave you one caveat, I guess, which is if you're gonna run late to this movie, or if you want to get some dinner beforehand, you're not really missing out on anything in the first 30 minutes. They're pretty bad, and yeah, I'm definitely taking that into account. If I had to give this movie a grade, because of that, totally gets knocked out of A range, where the rest of the movie definitely is. It's like a low B because of how bad the beginning of it is, but it goes really steadily uphill. And the foolish plot that would have been cool that they were trying to establish is just ditched half hour 45 minutes in, and then it's just giant fighting robots. It's awesome. Like giant robots. Seriously. Giant robots.